Department of Feeder Road is also undertaking 11 projects in the district. Lucky you, my brother. 1. Upgrading to bituminous surfacing of Fiakuma Kente Feeder Road, 10 kilometers. Bituminous surfacing of Fiakuma Ebuakwa Krobo, kilometer 0 to kilometer 10.2. Bituminous surfacing of Fiankuma, is that the case? Fiakuma, all right. Fiakuma Ebuakwa Krobo, kilometer 10.2 to 20.2. 4. Bituminous surfacing of Atia Mile 14 to Atia Junction, kilometer 0 to 6. Bituminous surfacing of Jacobo Ebuakwa Krobo Odaso, 7 kilometers. Bituminous surfacing of Hia Mile 14 to Atia Junction, kilometer 6 to kilometer 9.7.3. 7. Bituminous surfacing of Chuampiase Mile 15 to the length is 6 kilometers. Bituminous surfacing of Chuampiase Mile 15, that is kilometer 6 to kilometer 12. Upgrading of Fienkwanta to Krobo, 12.9 kilometers. The 10th one, rehabilitation of Mile 15, that is 32.8 kilometers. And then the last one, bituminous surfacing of Mile 15, Hu Feeder Road, 9.5 kilometers. 1. Upgrading of and bituminous surfacing of Fienkwanta to Kente Road. Current program. The project is titled Bituminous Surfacing of Fienkwanta Kente Feeder Road, 10 kilometers. Works commenced on the 27th of August 2024 for completion by 26th of February 2026. Progress of work is estimated at 8.15 physical completion. The contractor is currently on site and work is progressing. 2. Bituminous surfacing of Fiankwanta to Ebuakwa Krobo, 10.3 kilometers. And then bituminous surfacing of Fiankwanta to Ebuakwa Krobo. Current program. The above project has commenced on the 6th of April 2020 and was expected to be completed on the 6th of April 2021. It has since elapsed. The contractor is currently not on site and works have since been terminated. Future program. Engineering design studies will be carried out by the end of the second quarter of 2025 to assess the appropriate intervention, after which consideration will be made in the 2026 budget for if funds become available. 4. Bituminous surfacing of Atia Mile 14. Current program. This project is entitled Upgrading of Atia Mile 14 Junction Feeder Road. That's 6 kilometers to bituminous surfacing. This project is supposed to be funded by Cocoa Board. The works commenced on the 22nd of September 2016 for completion on the 21st of September 2017. The progress of work is estimated at 68%. The contractor is currently not on site and the works have since been recommended for termination. Future program. Engineering design studies will be carried out in the third quarter of 2025, and upon receipt of that, preparations will be made for that to be captured in the 2026 budget. 5. Bituminous surfacing of Jacobu Ebuakwa Krobo Odumase Road. Current program. This project is entitled Upgrading of Jacobu Krobo Odaso Project, 7 kilometers to bituminous surfacing. Works commenced on the 3rd of May 2016 for completion on the 4th of May 2017. Progress of work is 65% physical completion. Contractor is not on site and works have since been recommended for termination. Future program. Engineering design studies will be carried out by the end of the third quarter of 2025 upon termination of the contract to assess the appropriate intervention, after which consideration will be made in the 2026 budget. 6. Bituminous surfacing of here mile 14 to Atia Junction. Current program. This project is entitled Bituminous surfacing of here mile 14 to Atia Junction to bituminous surfacing. It was supposed to be funded by Cocoa Board. The works commenced on the 31st of October 2016 for completion by 30th of October 2017. The progress of work is estimated at 10%. The contractor is currently not on site and the works have been recommended for termination. Future program, engineering design studies will be carried out by the end of the third quarter of 2025 and then after the termination of the contract, after which the necessary interventions will be recommended for the 2026 budget. 7. Bituminous surfacing of Chuapiase Mile and then to bituminous surfacing of Chuapiase Mile. 15. Current program. The project was commenced on the 14th of May 2020 for completion by 14th of May 2021. Contractor is currently not on site and works have since been terminated. Future program. Engineering design studies will be carried out by the end of the second quarter of 2025 to assess the appropriate intervention, after which consideration will be made in the 2026 budget. 9. Upgrading of Fiason Kwanta, Kronko, and then other roads. Current program. This project is titled Upgrading of Fiankwanta Kroko Feeder Road to bituminous surfacing. It was supposed to be done under Cocoa Board funding. Works commenced on the 2nd of March 2021 for completion by 1st of March 2022. Progress of work is just 4% physical completion. Contractor is currently not on site and works have since been recommended for termination. Engineering design studies will be carried out by the end of the third quarter of 2025 upon termination of the contract to assess the appropriate interventions to be made for the 2026 budget. 10. Rehabilitation of mile 15 to Jametan Hunu and other roads. Mr. Speaker, the funding for this project is to be from Cocoa Board. The works commenced on the 14th of June 2021 for completion on 13th of June 2023. The contractor is currently not on site and works have since been recommended for completion. Future program. Engineering design studies will be carried out by the end of the third quarter of 2025 upon termination of the contract to assess the appropriate interventions to be carried out in the 2026 budget. 11. Bituminous surfacing of mile 15 to Hu Feeder Road. Current program. This project was supposed to be funded by Cocoa Board. Works commenced on the 14th of June 2021 for completion by 13th of June 2023. Contractor is currently not on site and works have since been terminated. Future program. Engineering design studies will be carried out by the end of the third quarter of 2025 upon termination of the contract, and a recommendation will be made for consideration in the 2026 budget. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Any follow-up?
I'm grateful, Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the update. I realize that out of the 11 roads being constructed by feeder roads, the contractors, for 10 of them, have abandoned the site. Very disturbing experience. What is more disturbing is that some of these sites have been abandoned for over 6 good years. I think it is not good for us as a nation. Can you assist this House, if you know, as to the reason why these contractors have abandoned their sites? Not only these contractors, I think it's a canker, it's everywhere. You go everywhere in Ghana, road contracts have been awarded, and I don't know if it is the practice of contractors to take contracts, you sign them, you assure the government of Ghana that you are going to embark on this contract, then you just visit the site, the next moment we realize you are not there. You don't go back to the site, you don't inform the government that I don't want your contract anymore, I cannot complete the contract, and you leave it like that in the books of the ministry. If we had not embarked on this exercise today, the minister would be sitting in his office thinking that, yes, all these roads have been awarded. I think it is a bad practice. Mr. Minister, can we know what the causes are? Is it that the contractors don't get the cooperation of the government? Is it that the contractors are incompetent? In fact, I have on several occasions witnessed contracts being awarded to certain people. I think this practice has to be discontinued. We mean serious business.
Member, what is your question?
So my question is, what is the cause of this? Why is everybody, all these contractors within the Odotobri constituency, why are they abandoning the contracts? Out of 11 roads that have been awarded by the feeder roads, 10 of them have abandoned sites.
Yes, Honorable Minister. Why are the projects abandoned by the contractors?
Mr. Speaker, I must say that having 11 road contracts in one district is actually a record. And you were blessed. Once upon a time, you were very blessed. Unfortunately, that blessing has turned into a nightmare for you. And I can sympathize with you. There are various reasons why contractors are not on site. But primarily, it would have been the capacity of the contractor and ability of the state to pay for it. That is a fact. But I agree with you. When somebody takes a project and does only 4% and leaves the site, does that not question whether we did proper due diligence before giving because 4%, all you would have done was clearing by the time you do 4%. So why did you abandon the project? But the answer is not far from the House here, Mr. Speaker. There's a reason almost all former road ministers and now me having the responsibility to answer more questions about road, because roads are pivotal to almost everything we do. So every colleague requires road. Even Greater Accra region is still crying for road. You can imagine what those of us in the villages have to be crying for. So it is a matter of us having, as a country, perhaps paying a bigger attention to how we fund roads. Mr. Speaker, I keep asking questions. Why is it okay for everybody to feel that we have rivers, but when we want to bring water to our homes, we fund the collection of that water, treatment and distribution, and it's paid for. The same thing, Akosombo Dam, the river water is there. We use money to dam it. For you to use electricity, you have to pay for it. But somehow, we believe that we can build roads and everybody use it for free. Is it not, it's something else. Meanwhile, it costs money to build roads as well. But for us to see water as an essential commodity that when you produce it, people pay to use it. When you produce electricity, people use to pay for it. But roads also cost money to build and maintain. So well, yes, I understand water is different, road is different, but road is also something that you don't just build and leave it there. It costs money to build and maintain. So how we fund the construction of maintenance of road, we should pay the same attention to the way we produce water and distribute and electricity. That is the only way out. And Mr. Speaker, the proposal to bring back the road toll is just a fraction of it. Elsewhere, you have to do more to be able to fund roads. And as a House, we've been discussing this. Maybe at the right time, Mr. Speaker, we need to discuss further whether, for instance, nobody can tell me that we will be able to fund or pay off the debt of the 20 billion this year. By the time you finish paying the 20 billion, Mr. Speaker, there will be more certificates that have come in because contractors have worked. I don't believe the Ghanaian contractor is lazy or deliberately decide to take projects and abandon them. They are business people. They've invested in equipment and the staff and other things. They couldn't have just abandoned the work for the sake of it. Something compels them. And I'm saying that on majority of the occasions is the inability of the state to honor our part of the contract, that is to pay for works they've done. And I think we should pay more attention to that, irrespective of which political party is in power. If we fail to generate our own resources, sustainable resources for road construction and maintenance, this problem would come and go, and then nothing will change. So hopefully, one day we'll find a solution to this. So, my colleague, I sympathize with you, but all these roads are necessary in your constituency and other colleagues' constituency. We'll do whatever we can to repackage them and see if we can get them done so that your community would have better roads. Thank you.
Any further question?
That is so right, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Minister, my next question is in relation to paragraph 1, 2, 3 under I, where you informed this House that the contractor is on site and work is progressing. To the best of my knowledge, the contractor abandoned the site even before the end of 2024. He has not returned to site, and I do not know if he intends to do that. Would you want, or do you think it would be in the right direction to write to the contractor to make him aware of his obligations as the contractor for that project?
Mr. Speaker, yes, once a contractor mobilizes to site and is working, we can argue about the pace of the work, but they will tell you we have plant, equipment, and staff on site. So the pace of the work may be slower, but when you look into the contract, that is still contractor on site. But there are some that the contractor is completely packed off site. In fact, they can even tell us they are not interested in the work. So that is the difference. The one you are talking about, the contractor has capacity to complete the work. The difficulty is that cumulatively, the amount of money owed to that contractor is significant. So it's almost difficult for him to continue working. But I agree with you. All we can do is to appeal to them. And I must say that without mentioning names of contractors, I am also aware that there are other contractors in similar situations who continue to hold themselves accountable and are on site working they can. So those ones, maybe we need to commend them for the sacrifices they are making, because it's not that easy. I know that it's tough on some of them, but maybe, I don't know how they find it, but some continue to work even though we are unable to honor their certificates the way we should.
Contractors abandon projects in your constituency as well? But it's a constituency specific question. On constituency specific. Very well. For you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The contractors in respect of the road projects under question in the Otobre constituency, as the minister submitted, were those contractors perhaps paid their mobilization, and if they were, consistent with the assurance given by the minister that those roads will be reprogrammed for intervention possibly in 2026. Would be consistent with that assurance? Fact these roads, Buakwa, Jakobu, in his next visit to the Ashanti region, to
Mr. Speaker, they are in two parts. Those under Cocoa Board, as we know, Cocoa Board, based on the IMF program under which we are currently, Cocoa Board is to offload all their road projects back to the Ministry of Roads. The question is, what happens to the certificates that they generated before offloading to Ministry of Road? It's something that the state need to take a look at, because it's 5 billion. Cocoa Board doesn't have 1 billion Ghana cedi today to even pay off what they owe. So it's a discussion that the government will need to have, even before we start talking about how to repackage those projects for continuation. So it's going to take a bit of time, but eventually we'll do it. I agree with you. Fortunately for those contractors, some were paid mobilization by Cocoa Board. GOG hardly pays compensation. If somebody takes compensation and then doesn't do the work, that one is straightforward. You need to give a refund. The remedies will be in the contract itself. I'm not in a position to tell exactly what happens to those contractors. But I know if you take money for work which you haven't carried out, that one shouldn't be rocket science. You will have to refund the money according to what the contract says you have to do at the time of signing of the contract. I'm always visiting project sites. I can tell you this weekend, whilst you are relaxing at home, I'll be on the road somewhere, not Jakobo, somewhere else. I'll get there one day.
Honourable Member, this weekend we have a post-budget workshop.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I know that the rules are very clear about the questions and the fact that we should be constituency specific because of the nature of the question. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to really support the road minister. Mr. Minister, I think that there's something that should be very clear in your mind. Even though this side, the previous government, we stopped the road tolls because we didn't want to burden e-levy and road tolls at the same time. There's nobody from this side who's against road tolls. I'm saying also that the previous minister, Sensu, actually brought the electronic road tolls for ends, and cabinet adopted it. So please go ahead. And I think you should broaden it, not just the ordinary, the normal road tolls. Otherwise, trust me, we can't fix our roads. I know that if you go to South Africa, you just pass, you don't stop. And then that beep sign comes and people pay. If you don't do that across the whole country, in all the major roads, you will not be able to fix a single road. 4 years deteriorate worse. So my question is, when are you bringing it? When? Because you should do it. Trust me. If you don't, you're going to have problems.
Honorable Nitiwood, the question doesn't relate to question number 59, but I would allow the minister to provide an answer.
Mr. Speaker, I want to take the opportunity to highly commend my colleague for the position he's taking. The issue about road funding, and I might have the opportunity to also pay tribute to one of our former colleagues, Honorable Adiomi. I remember very well those days were struggling to improve the accruals to the road fund. He was the ranking member, and he supported the call for the increase in how much fuel levy goes into the road fund. That is why we moved from the annual 250 million Ghana cedi to 1.2 billion at the time. So the road toll is coming back. We sent a concept note to Ministry of Finance. They have given us approval. The technical works are being done, and we are going full electronics. We don't intend to build any physical tolls on any road. And then all the challenges people talk about, how do you collect the money and everything. I jokingly said, if President Mahama were to say that everybody in Ghana should get a phone number, a Momo number to receive 1,000 today, everybody will be able to get it. The same way we are going to be able to implement the road toll. We'll select the most efficient technology that makes sure that it is fair, and then the accruals are safe and easy for everybody to pay. And whatever we collect goes only to funding of roads, not into a consolidated fund where somebody will decide whether to give us the money for road or not. It has to be entirely for road-related expenditure. And I'll come to the House with that. And then I want to thank my colleagues for when. We are hoping that by April thereabout, we should be going for RFP, request for proposal, both technical and financial, so that we can go ahead with it. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, leadership. Honourable members, we have come to the end of question time. On behalf of the House and on my own behalf, questions. Honourable Minister, you are discharged on Ghana's cocoa production and the global chocolate industry. Production and the global chocolate industry. In the name of Honorable Nana Osei Aje, Member of Parliament for New Job and North Constituency. Honorable, you have the floor. Honorable members in
opportunity to make this statement in an effort to bring urgent of the Bole Bamboit's implications on commuters, particularly the good people of the Upper West and Savannah regions. Mr. Speaker, the growth of these regions and the country at large cannot be overemphasized, particularly, Mr. Speaker, for regions which do not have alternative means of transportation. Road transportation is a critical artery to their economies, enabling access to markets, boosting tourism, creating access to jobs and educational opportunities, as well as enabling access to healthcare and other essential services. Ultimately, a good road network provides the opportunity to stimulate economic growth and social progress in these regions and the country at large. Mr. Speaker, one such important road network with enormous economic and social benefit to the people in these two regions and Ghana at large is the Wabole-Bamboi-Techima route. It is an N12 and communities along it. The road is characterized by large and deep potholes, weak culverts, and completely dusty as all the coal is removed. Mr. Speaker, the implications are innumerable. The safety and the security of commuters is greatly compromised, as they are subjects of frequent and indiscriminate armed robbery attacks, and in some unfortunate situations, resulting in deaths. Mr. Speaker, most worrying is the spate of accidents solely attributable to the bad road network. Common occurrences include bursting of vehicle tires and vehicle collisions in drivers' attempt to dodge potholes, amongst others. Mr. Speaker, the cumulative effect is that the road is unsafe in all regards and extremely tortuous long. A journey which would naturally take less than 12 hours from Accra to Wa takes an average of about 18 to 20 hours or more. Worse is that transport owners, including the state transport company, have started avoiding and even abandoning the road to the detriment of communities around that stretch. Mr. Speaker, even though the importance of keeping this road in good shape, Mr. Speaker, the cumulative effect is that the road is unsafe in all regards and extremely tortuous long. A journey which would naturally take less than 12 hours from Accra to Wa takes an average of about 18 to 20 hours or more. Worse is that transport owners, including the state transport company, have started avoiding and even abandoning the road to the detriment of communities around that stretch. Mr. Speaker, even though the importance of keeping this road in good shape is not lost on government, the neglect of the road for close to a decade without maintenance has left the entire road network in its present deplorable state. Even though chiefs, commuters, drivers, and members of parliament from the two regions from both sides of the political divide have made several appeals to the past government to fix the road, the situation has not changed as the condition of the road continues to deteriorate by each passing day. And although the immediate past regime announced the award of a portion of the road to a contractor before it exited power, the contractor is yet to commence work on site. Also, the bad road network has significantly significant toll on the health of commuters and settlers. The long sitting hours poses severe health challenges to the passengers. Respiratory diseases are equally rising among communities along the road due to the daily inhalation of dust. Patient transport is equally negatively impacted, with reports of deterioration of medical conditions of patients who are referred to the Upper West Regional Hospital and beyond. Mr. Speaker, the road, if not urgently attended to, will continue to slow down economic and social activities. Cost of transport, prices of goods and services, access to markets, tourism, and investment drive will further take a nosedive. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, fixing this road as soon as possible will allow for easier movement of goods and services to markets and facilitating trade to boost economic growth. It will reduce vehicular wear and tear, leading to lower transportation costs for passengers, businesses, and commuters, while enabling faster delivery times and improved supply chains, enhancing overall productivity and, by extension, attract more businesses and investment to the region. This will help create jobs in these regions for the unemployed youth. It will further boost tourism and reduce the negative impact cited such as accidents, robbery, and deaths along the road. Mr. Speaker, my position is therefore to appeal to the President of the Republic through the Minister responsible for roads and highways to, as a matter of urgency, cause the immediate rehabilitation or construction of the road. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sandari. Yes, Honorable Peter Tobu Lanchiri.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the statement ably made or delivered by the Member of Parliament for the road from Techman to Wa requires some bit of energy to stand in Parliament and speak, because all of us, as we sit here from that stretch, constituents are threatening that if that road is not fit, we should not even come home. Drivers are threatening that if that road is not fit, they will abandon the road. Mr. Speaker, VIP from Wa to Accra used to use 9 hours. Today, VIP is using 18 to 20 hours. Mr. Speaker, STC is using between 20 to 22 hours because STC prefers to use the bypass between Sola and Foforoso and cut across to Techman, abandoning the Sola Techman portion of this road. It is quite sad to realize that a journey of 9 hours is becoming a journey of 18 hours. Mr. Speaker, if we believe that time is money, we are wasting 9 additional hours for the same stretch of road. What is more important and very sad is the fact that the spate of accidents on that road, because of the bad nature of the road, threatens lives and properties. I am happy to announce, Mr. Speaker, that as we cry about armed robbery on that road, because of the bad nature of the road, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama has infused some fresh energy into the Ghana Police Service by appointing a new Inspector General of Police. And we'll call upon him as well that before the road is fixed, government should endeavor to ensure that patrols on that road is maintained at a very high level so that security can be guaranteed. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion, briefly, this is a road that passes through a former Prime Minister Buzia from Wenchi. It is a road that passes through the current president, Mr. John Dramani Mahama Bole, So it is therefore a very important road. And apart from that, this is a road that leads to Burkina Faso. We know that in the near future, we'll be talking about a rail line from Tama to Ouagadougou. But until that is done, let's have a better route to be able to enjoy transport home and back. I'm so grateful, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Dominic Nitiwul.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me support my colleague who brought the attention of the country and the House. And I'm happy that the road minister is here to listen to the statement by my colleague. Mr. Speaker, the bad nature of this road was highlighted in the last quarter of 2024. Is the reason the government had to hardly look for resources and got the Minister of Finance to issue a commencement for portions or a portion of that road that was awarded. Mr. Speaker, it's really a very terrible road. That is leading to a regional capital. If you get that road not done, if that road is not done, it will mean that the Upper West will be cut off from having any good route to the Upper West. Because from Bolga's side, the road is not good. And from Wenchi's side, if the road is not good, and we don't have any other alternate route, it means the entire region does not have any motorable route to that region. We're not even talking of roads within the region, but the main road to the region. That's how bad it is. And so I'm happy that the road minister is here. The road minister, I believe that you should take judicial notice of, or take serious notice of the plea of the member and see what you can do to ensure that at least the road is motorable. When this matter came up in cabinet and we're discussing, some of us were of the view that we should even quickly go there and do spot improvement to at least allow it to be motorable for some time. But then we're told that it is so bad that if you want to even do spot improvement, it won't help. And so it needs real construction. And so I think all of us, the whole country needs to support them. You cannot have a situation where a whole region cannot have an access route, a third route to the region in 21st century Ghana. I think it's wrong. And so I will support the member and say that if you are going to have a situation where people cannot move, when there are security issues, we have a whole barracks there, they cannot move properly. When the police cannot move properly, when people who are traveling cannot move properly because the roads are bad, it doesn't speak well of us. And worse still, it is at the border where terrorism threats are coming towards us. And these are places that we should find a way of ensuring that the place is good so that we can reinforce if there is a problem. We cannot have a situation where Upper East and Upper West, we have bad roads. It's something that the country should not should really look at for as a second option. And for the Wenchi through Bole, Sola to Wa, having the sort of road that they have had, I've used that road several times, Mr. Speaker. Even with your 4x4 car, you are going to suffer. I can imagine the market women who are using this road just to make ends meet. That they are not using 4x4 Land Cruisers, they are not using Nizam Patrols, they are not using modern day cars, and they are using the old cars that our people use. I can imagine how they suffer. I can imagine people sitting 10 hours to move on a road that could have used 2 hours. I can imagine if people are referred, and for some reason they do not have money to get onto the aircraft, or maybe the aircraft is not coming that day because it does not come regularly, and you have then to move to Kumasi or Accra. I can imagine that pregnant woman has to move with this type of road. We are going to kill the person. So, road minister, I think that you should pay attention to this road and look at how you'll be able to ensure that at least it made motorable. There are many difficulties that you are going to face. That is true, especially with roads. But I also think that there are some roads that you should prioritize, and this should be one of them. That make them a priority and ensure that within this year, you begin to at least allow the people to enjoy some good roads. Otherwise, it will be sad to have a situation whereby the entire region does not have any motorable road that you can move to. It's not a very good thing. I want to thank the maker of the statement for bringing it to our attention. As I said, the nature of the road came, especially in the last quarter when the rains destroyed most of the parts of the roads. And it's not just only the one leading to Wise, even out of Wa, the rains destroyed a lot of it. And if we allow rainy season to come again, then the roads even get worse. So if we can do something before the rain starts to come, then it will be good for all of us as a country. So with this, I want to support the call of the member that we should prioritize these roads as one of the first roads that the road minister will deal with, even though all of us have roads in our constituency that are not complete. But I still want to support the make of the statement and say that we need to do this for the sake of all of us as a country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, honorable member, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to comment on the statement ably made by the Member of Parliament for Dafiame Buse Issa. As an MP from the Upper West region, I think he's done a good job for all of us. It's been a challenge for all of us, and we are all facing the threats. At the point, they think that our constituents think that we are not doing enough to get this route constructed. And I want to thank my colleagues that have also commented on the statement, particularly the former Minister for Defense, for siding with us and then indicating the need for the Minister to take agent action. To probably a few illustrations will demonstrate the challenge. If you are leaving Accra with the state transport at 4 o'clock going to Wa, the earliest time you can get to Wa is 2 p.m. the next day. And the state transport will get to Tachima. Instead of going straight to Wenchi, Bamboy, and continuing, it will divert straight to Kintampo, then up to Fofoso, and come back through Damango to Sola before you can go to Wa, a regional capital. Wa is was the youngest regional capital before the creation of these other regions. And we know the challenge. Already we are struggling to catch up with development with the other regions. Added with this challenge now, I don't think the people of the Upper West and then the communities and constituencies along that route deserve this treatment. In fact, on one occasion, I said that if we cannot work on the road, then let's clarify, let's take off the bitumen so that we have a rough road and the people can move easily. The implications are so many, economic, especially on the tourism potential of the region. I will make an illustration. The Continental Body for Credit Union was due to hold a program in the Upper West region because Drapa, which is the birthplace of credit unions in Africa, they were celebrating the 70th birthday. So this program was going to host 34 African countries, 4 European countries, and the US, participants from all these countries. And they had chosen Drapa because that was the birthplace of the credit unions in Africa to host this program. The organizers went by flight from Accra to Wa and then got to Drapa. They inspected Royal Cozy Hotel, they popularly called Dubai, Drapa Dubai. They were very satisfied with the conditions there. But they decided to come through road to Kumasi to pay a courtesy call on the Asantehene. For 12 hours. It took them 12 hours from Wa to Kumasi. The program was going to host 2,000 members. As I speak to you, Mr. Speaker, we have lost the opportunity to host the program. There are a lot of tourist sites these people have taken advantage of. And then our communities who have benefited economically from their visit. We have lost that potential. We have lost that opportunity. Most of us listen to City Heritage Caravan. When they were questioned why they've never been to Upper West, they said the security of the people. They couldn't gamble with their lives going on that road. That is the road we use every time. It's affecting every sphere of our lives, even we MPs. If I want to get to my constituency and I leave now, I'll probably get there tomorrow in the afternoon. I've passed my tie on that road severally. Security concerns. In this house, I had the opportunity and the very sad and honest duty to contribute to a statement regarding a colleague who passed, my schoolmate, late Richard Badombi, a lawyer who was shot dead on that road. So the situation is quite dire. I do understand the passion of the road minister. And I think the road minister, you can do something to salvage the situation. And I tell you, you'll be writing your name in history if you are able to do something about that road. It's so terrible. I mean, it's not anything to talk about. We don't have to make such requests, demands, and petitions for that road to be worked on. That road links to